Before we even start, imagine a build that never stops moving. A build that freezes enemies in place, strikes with lightning speed, and melts entire packs before they even realize what's happening. No standing still, no waiting for cooldowns, just constant motion, pressure, and control over the battlefield. Every teleport puts you in the perfect position, every strike builds momentum, and every second makes you stronger. Today, I'm showing you exactly that. Welcome, Titans, to another episode on the Titans channel. In today's video, my friends, I want to show you a very interesting build that performs extremely well in the current state of the game and also serves as a strong foundation for the upcoming third chapter. The build we're focusing on today is a powerful combination of the Storm and Warfare masteries, creating a fast, aggressive playstyle that thrives on mobility and pressure. I like to call this setup the Tempest build. This is a fast-paced, highly aggressive build focused on mobility, rapid attacks, and heavy lightning and cold damage. We're playing with dual fast blades constantly teleporting around the battlefield, controlling space, and freezing enemies exactly where we want them. Every engagement is on our terms. We decide when to strike, where to reposition, and when to finish the fight. The pressure never stops, enemies barely have time to react, and the flow of combat stays fast and satisfying. If you enjoy a dynamic mobile playstyle where movement, timing, and control matter just as much as raw damage, you're definitely in the right place. First things first, the character you're seeing here is not max level. This build is currently level 34, but don't worry about that. At this stage, the build already feels almost complete, with all its core mechanics fully unlocked and working together. Any additional levels will simply strengthen what we already have, adding more power and consistency without changing the overall playstyle. The foundation is solid, the synergies are in place, and the build is already performing exactly as intended. As you can see, I focus mainly on the Storm mastery because that's where our primary sources of lightning and cold damage come from. This mastery defines the identity of the build and drives most of its offensive power. Skill points gained on future levels will mostly be invested into abilities we already use, simply pushing them further rather than adding unnecessary new tools. There won't be many new skills introduced later. Instead, we refine and strengthen what already works. Everything here is carefully selected to create strong synergy between damage output, mobility, and reliable crowd control. Before we dive deeper into Storm and Warfare, I want to briefly talk about core mastery skills. In Titan Quest 2, investing into basic attacks is actually worth your time and your skill points. I'll be honest, at first, I was skeptical, because in the original Titan Quest, many basic skills felt underwhelming and were often skipped entirely. That's absolutely not the case here. When properly enhanced and supported by the right modifiers, basic attacks become a powerful foundation of your entire build. They scale well, interact with multiple mechanics, and reward aggressive, fast-paced gameplay. Because of that, I strongly encourage you to invest into them early and build around them instead of ignoring them. We start with Enhanced Ailment of Primary Attack, which increases the effectiveness of status effects applied by our character, in this case, Lightning Shock and Freeze effects. Next, we have Hamstring, which slows enemies down. This is incredibly important for a build that relies on speed and positioning. Another key skill is Onslaught, which builds up rage stacks. Each fast consecutive hit makes our next attacks even stronger. Since we're playing with dual fast blades, this fits the build perfectly. Finally, we have a Lightning Strike, which converts our physical piercing damage into lightning damage. This skill is fully maxed out with all important modifiers because it's one of the pillars of this entire setup. Now let's move on to the Storm mastery. On the second tier of active skills, we get Storm Nimbus, a very familiar ability for anyone who played the first Titan Quest. It's fully maxed here and plays a huge role in our damage output. When it comes to modifiers, we focus on maximizing lightning damage through Lightning Imbuement and Storm Enchantment. On top of that, Thunderstorm gives us a chance to randomly strike nearby enemies with lightning, which can be incredibly useful in the middle of intense fights. Right next to that, we have Ice Nova, a cold-based skill that provides excellent area control and crowd management. Thanks to its modifiers, we gain additional charges and a much stronger freeze effect, allowing us to lock down entire groups of enemies. Once frozen, opponents become easy targets and are quickly shredded by our fast blades before they can recover. Moving up to the third tier, we unlock our teleport ability. As I mentioned earlier, this entire build is designed around constant movement and aggressive positioning, and this skill fits into that concept perfectly. It allows us to instantly reposition, escape danger, or dive straight into the center of a fight without losing momentum. On top of that, the teleport itself can deal lightning damage and trigger additional lightning strikes around us, turning movement into a source of offense. It's a smooth, fluid ability that perfectly blends mobility and damage into a single, satisfying action. At the very top of the Storm Mastery, we have Tempest, a skill that temporarily boosts both our movement speed and overall damage. This ability is absolutely insane and plays a huge role in how the build feels during combat. It's more than worth upgrading all the way to max because increased duration and additional bonuses allow us to keep it active almost constantly. Once the effect ends, we can simply activate it again and stay in that high speed, high damage state. Tempest perfectly complements the fast aggressive nature of the build and truly unlocks its full potential. When it comes to passive skills, I'm usually not the biggest fan, since many of them are just flat percentage increases. Still, they are absolutely worth investing into here. Raging Mind increases spell damage and cast speed, which directly supports the Storm Mastery. Other passives boost lightning and cold damage, overall damage, and rage generation, further increasing our attack speed and pressure. The final passive increases the chance and damage of random lightning strikes, perfectly tying into everything this build is trying to achieve. Now, when it comes to the Warfare Mastery, I have to admit that my focus here is mostly on passive skills. Active abilities from Warfare aren't really necessary for this build, since our main source of damage already comes from the Storm Mastery. Instead, Warfare works as a powerful support layer, reinforcing what we already do well. The one major exception is the Awareness Battlefield Aura, which increases maximum health, improves health regeneration, and grants lifesteal. Warfare passives enhance weapon damage, attack speed, and rage generation, all of which directly support the core mechanics of this build. They help keep our damage consistent while pushing the tempo of combat even further. Combat Rush grants a short movement speed boost after each successful hit, once again reinforcing the strong mobility theme of the build. This constant flow of small speed boosts makes movement feel fluid and aggressive, especially in extended fights. On top of that, we also gain a passive health regeneration aura, which becomes extremely valuable when diving straight into groups of enemies and staying in the middle of the action. As for attributes, I focus mainly on might, with roughly a 3-to-1 ratio compared to agility, which gives us a strong balance between raw damage and attack speed. Resolve supports our cold damage scaling, while Cunning boosts lightning damage, perfectly aligning with the Storm Mastery. Gear-wise, this is still an early setup. We're only level 34 and don't have access to legendary items yet, so nothing here is final. That said, I'm currently using 2 small blades that increase cold damage, offer very high attack speed, and feature a unique effect that poisons frozen enemies. This interaction synergizes perfectly with Ice Nova, allowing us to apply multiple damage types at once and melt enemies extremely quickly. Other gear pieces focus mainly on attack speed, lightning damage, movement speed, and health regeneration. All of these stats work together to keep the build fast, aggressive, and constantly active. Mobility is extremely important in Titan Quest 2, so every bonus to movement speed truly matters. I strongly encourage you to try this build yourself, but also to experiment and create your own variations. Titan Quest 2 gives us a huge amount of freedom, and that freedom is what makes experimenting with builds so rewarding. Test different skill setups, adjust the pacing, and find a version that truly fits your own playstyle. If you enjoyed this build showcase and found it helpful, make sure to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss future content. More builds, updates, and deep dives into Titan Quest 2 are coming very soon. Thanks for watching, Titans, and I'll see you in the next video.